Welcome, JJ.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here.
Happy to be here.
I feel like 2020 is off to a good start. We have new KALEO coming up and already dropped some.
Yeah.
So you were recently playing your new single, I Want More, on Stephen Colbert New York.
Mm-hmm.
How did it feel to be back in such a huge format?
It was good. I haven't done late night in a while, and well, same goes for music. I mean, haven't put out new music in a while, so it's feeling great, you know. Just getting some new stuff out there and kind of getting back to it.
Well, from what we've heard of it so far, heard a few tracks here and there, it's got that characteristic, like really gritty, southern, blues rocky, and of course also diverse sounds on it.
Mm-hmm.
But some things definitely familiar from your earlier material. I'm curious to how you see it. Do you see the new album as sort of in a contiguous body of work with AB, or as a more of a break and a new beginning, musically speaking?
I don't really think that I think of my music that way. To be honest, like each song kind of is just totally different and a new experience for me most of the time, you know. Probably some of them resemble other songs in a way, but it really just, each song usually pushes me to kind of get to a good spot creatively and kind of to try to find sonically what I can do with that song. So I never know.
Like each song is its own journey?
In a way, you know. I mean, obviously some are more bluesy and some are more folky or whatever that people love to put things in boxes, you know. But it's really just about the song for me. So this record, I think, the album was interesting for me because I got the time to really try to do something sonically and have more time to kind of explore, I guess.
Right on. Yeah, I did want to talk about time because it was the first time in many years that you'd had some time. You'd been on the road with AB for something like 3 years.
Yeah.
Massive album and the massive tour that accompanies that. So of course you had time to write, which is huge. But having a bit of time at home, what was the most important thing about that, to have some time for you aside from the songwriting itself?
Well, I didn't have the time at home. I just was literally on the road and, you know, had already started working on the album while touring, which was quite challenging, but also a fun experience. You know, I was running into studios when we had off days and trying to make the most of that because I was already just extremely ready to start that process of the new music and the new album. So I think it went 4 days went by after we finished the tour until I was full on into the studio, just, you know, recording. So that's kind of, I've basically been in the studio since we finished tour. But, you know, that was, I was very ready for it, and it's been quite a journey. But like you said, I mean, yeah, I already had so many songs written, and then I also wrote a few on the road leading up to it. So it's definitely good to get the time at least, you know, and not having to tour and record only at the same time.
Now, were you working mostly in just one studio this time? So remember the last album was all over the place.
Now it was even more over the place because, like I said, you know, I really was running around the world and trying to jump into studios when I had off time. But basically when I, you know, got to really focus on the studio in the last year or so, a lot of my time was in Nashville. Great town to make music. They have some really great studios. I work in mostly out of 3 or 4 studios there, but also going to LA quite a bit, New York, because I decided to work with multiple people on this record, you know, depending on each song. So that was kind of it was a bit of a puzzle game, but a lot of fun as well.
It must feel different, like every time when you get in a studio, you know, in Spain or Greece or New York or LA or Nashville, of all the vibes and recording environments that you've been in, does one stand out as either a favorite or just a really special recording experience?
Yeah, probably a few favorites, but that's very true. I mean, each one has kind of a vibe where sometimes there's an instrument, you know, a great grand piano, or, you know, I love to go into Capitol in LA and play Nat King Cole's piano and Frank Sinatra's U47 mic, and, you know, So definitely, you know, some of these places have a lot of history, and I was working a lot out of Nashville, from, RCA and Sound Emporium, where, you know, a lot of great country records and all sorts of records have been made. I don't know if there's a favorite. I also got to work a little bit in Iceland, which was really nice. No, I think it'd be hard to pick one, but I think that's what the album kind of reflects as well, is kind of the different sounds, and that was kind of the plan to begin with. Yeah.
Right on. Random other question. The TV stars of Supernatural, Jared Padalecki and Jensen have said that they're huge fans of KALEO's music. Jensen has also got a project of his own going, just dropped an album with a friend, Steve Carlson.
Yeah.
I'm curious, you guys are in Nashville now, but you used to live in Austin. Do you ever get over there and like have a jam session or such?
Well, yeah, we're quite good friends, so we usually try to hang out when we're in the same town, and they've been to quite a few shows, so it's interesting. Yeah.
Fun
yeah,
time.
and I really enjoyed. I got to hear Jensen's stuff the other day, so it was really cool.
A great road trip album.
Yeah.
Just drive.
Yeah.
Speaking of TV, there have been a ton of TV shows, also films and video games where KALEO's music has been placed. And you're also something of a film buff. Like you love cinema privately. If you could choose any director to place a KALEO song in their next film, who would it be?
That's a great question. There are some good ones. I'm a big fan of, obviously, Scorsese's, and Paul Thomas Anderson is a favorite of mine as well. And then again, Tarantino. I mean, there are really quite a few. Wes Anderson. Yeah, I don't know really to narrow it down to one, but that would be really fun if an opportunity would present itself.
Music editors of the world, take note. Sweet. Well, we are super excited for this year and all the projects that are coming our way. Thank you.
Absolutely.